Hello children, today I am going to take your value education class. So take out your value education book.
Chapter 8 Treasures of Motherland. So, in this chapter, we find that some children are sitting in the front row of their classroom, and it is after the first period. Now, it's going to begin the first period after lunch, and they're the students of class 6. They are waiting for their teacher, and they thought that the teacher might ask them to take out the history book, but instead of that, the teacher asked Kalpana that does her mother allow her to scribble on the walls at home. In that reply, she said no in a very scared voice. Then she asked Robert that whether his father allow him to use the pen knife and carve his name on the dining table. The same he also replied by saying, "Of course not, ma'am." The teacher took a small frame photograph out of her bag and showed it to the class. It was a picture of an old man seated on a chair. "This is someone, grandfather," she said. Then, with a sudden movement, she flung the photograph. She thrown the photograph on the floor, as well as the glass in the frame shattered into pieces. The students were shocked by the behavior of the ma'am, and then teacher took out the beads, gold beads, that was of someone's grandmother, and she said she is tearing the strings and the beads, which scattered all around the floor. The children were completely shocked by the behavior of the teacher. Now she started explaining, "Would you allow anyone to treat your grandparents like this? Grandparents things like that?" So the children said, "No, ma'am." Yet this was what we are doing to a wonderful treasure every day in India, and this is what we are doing to the wonderful treasures of India. Actually, the teacher wants us to understand that we should preserve our heritage, because this heritage is our only treasure. So at last we find Iqbal stood up and started collecting the beads from the floor, and even other students also joined. They distribute the beads till each child had one. "I hope you will never forget this lesson," said the teacher. "Each bead is a reminder of a heritage we all share." By this, the story ends. So in this story, we learn that how one can save our heritage, or the old monuments. We need to preserve them, because it's give us lot of past related things. We get the knowledge of the past, and which is very necessary for to us to learn. So in this way, the story ends. Now we will move on to the question answers. Okay, today I am going to discuss the question answers of chapter 8, that is Treasure of Our Motherland. Answer the following question. Number 1. What did the teacher ask a girl in the front row? The teacher asked Kalpana that whether her mother allow her to scribble on the walls at home. Number 2. Why did the teacher throw the frame photograph and the beads on the floor? The teacher threw the frame photograph and the beads on the floor so that the children should realize that it is important to save the heritage of our ancestor. This heritage is our treasure. Number 3. Why is our heritage valuable to us? Our heritage is valuable to us because it provides clues to our past and how our society has evolved. It helps us examine our history and traditions and enable us to develop an awareness about ourselves. Number 4. Do you think the children in the story would ever forget these lessons? Why? No, the children in the story would never forget these lessons, because the teacher gave the children an example by throwing a small frame photograph to the floor and tearing the strings and beads in order to show that how we are disrespecting our ancestral heritage, old buildings, monuments, by carving our name on them. Number 5. What did Iqbal and other children do at the end of the story? Iqbal stood up and started collecting the beads from the floor, and other children joined him. They distributed the beads till each child had one.